Pizza delivery man. What was the strangest thing you could see when you were delivering pizza? One Saturday evening, I was delivering pizza to a multi-story building. I went into the elevator, and there was a dude dressed like a souteneur who tried to buy me a pizza that I had to deliver. He wasn't even interested in what it was or what size it was. He just pulled out a $100 bill and said, "I'm buying it for $100. I politely refused him, after which he took out another $100 bill and offered me $200. I told him that I could be fired. It was hard to refuse. This is where the fun began. I approached the door of the guy who was supposed to deliver the pizza. He opens the door, and he also looks like a souteneur in such a huge, colorful jacket. He grabs the pizza, gives me $100, and closes the door. The pizza cost about $35, $65 for tea. In general, I got the biggest tea in my life from a dude who was dressed like a souteneur just a few seconds after I refused the biggest bribe in my life from another dude who was dressed like a souteneur. The souteneur's friends clearly checked the loyalty of the local pizzerias. I think the souteneur from the elevator wanted to buy pizza to pretend to be the courier of the second souteneur. When the second souteneur opens the door, the first souteneur will shoot the second souteneur. With your decency, you saved the souteneur's life. At least that's what I would tell my grandchildren. One dude opened the door of the apartment completely naked. I was stunned. But what followed made me wonder, maybe he's some kind of fucking magician. He pulled his back and pulled out a piece of paper. The only reasonable explanation I found for myself was that he squeezed a piece of paper between his buns. Needless to say, this is a pretty powerful move. Once I was delivering pizza in a rather restless area. The door was opened by 3 Latinos, and when one of them went for the money, I noticed a huge pile of money, methamphetamine, and herbs that could have killed Snoop Dogg, and about 20 guns. I was very scared. He gave me $20 for tea and cash and told me not to tell anyone. I hope they're not sitting on Reddit. Hey, you just knocked on me? You're covered. Once a dude with a snake on his shoulders opened the door for me. Not a little snake or a snake, but a royal python, probably 2 meters long. When he closed the door, I heard him say to someone, like, "I didn't react at all, lol." It sounded so disappointed. Just the other day, there was a delivery where 2 guys met me, looking 25 years old, on the roof of the house in their underwear. They were clearly delighted with the pizza delivered. Did you throw the pizza up like Walter White? One guy ordered a large pizza with pepperoni. When I got home, he wasn't there, so I called him. He said he was shitting in the toilet, so I had to wait 18 minutes for payment. I had to take a couple of bucks from him for waiting. I work at DoorDash and Grubhub. Sometimes I deliver pizza. Once I received an order at the same time in both applications, with the same content, from the same restaurant. Both customers were called James, and I had to take them to the same hotel. When I knocked on the door, there were 2 guys who asked me if I was from DoorDash or Grubhub. I told them that I had both their orders. They started laughing very hard. When I asked them something funny, they said that they had a bet whose order they would bring first. They thought there would be 2 different delivery men, and they would never think that one person would use both applications. I also laughed and asked which of them was James. They said that both of them were called James. I still wonder what other cool things these 2 guys are trying to come up with. When I arrived, 3 dudes in underwear were waiting for me. When I gave the pizza, other guys in underwear came out of there, but they also had cowboy hats and headdresses of Indians. It was some kind of Halloween party or something. I had to pull out the man's T-spout. It was damn funny, but when I left the building, I had to think for a second what the hell was going on here. There was one order from a young couple. I arrived quite early and probably prevented them from having sex. The drunk dude had no idea that he was wearing his girlfriend's skirt. Nothing unusual, but it was very difficult not to laugh. I arrived with my order, and when I stood on the threshold and waited for the guy to pay, I heard moans and wheezes coming from the house. The guy continued to look around the living room and laugh. After he paid and gave me the cash register, he said, "Your mother, man, you have to see this." He took a step back, and I entered the living room, where there were about 5 other dudes who watched on the big television how the guy fucks a 300 kilogram woman on his stomach. It must be the work of delivering pizza of my dreams. In general, I worked as a food delivery man for 2 years, performing a little more than 3,500 deliveries. And, unfortunately, I have not seen a single strange situation, even something as banal as a naked person. Perhaps you just have high criteria for what you consider strange. Yes, I suppose after the 69th delivery to the Sphinx party, It no longer seems so unusual. Let's go back to my student years when I delivered pizza. I had an order for a local prison. Some officer was leading someone behind bars. This guy, who was taken to prison with handcuffs behind his back, ran away from the officer. And when I came in, he clashed with me. I'm pretty sure this guy was a suspect. The officer threw both of us on the ground and twisted him. I was all in the pizza sauce. The officers of that shift took the pizza, and each of them gave me $20. I told my manager about it. We made a new pizza, and I brought it back for them. The cops were grateful and gave me more tips. For one delivery, I raised about $400. I would like to add that every time they ordered pizza from us, they always asked a responsible guy to deliver it and always gave me good tips. Good times. I thought it would turn into a Spider-Man situation in which you will let him go, and then he will kill your uncle. Once I was delivering pizza late at night, the guy who called told me that the customer, let's call him Mark, is an old man, and it may take some time for him to get to the door. I came home, all the lights were off. There was no car in the parking lot. No one answered. I knocked on the door. No one answered. I called the phone. Silence. I call again. Still nothing. At that moment, I was waiting for this man for about 15 minutes. As soon as I started to return to the car, I heard that the front door was open, so I went back. The light was also not on, so I only saw the head of a young girl looking out the door. She refused to fully open the door to take the pizza. After that, I heard another girl behind her who said, "What's the difference? If he sees it, open the door." She opened it a little wider so that you could sign the check. She didn't see anything, so I suggested turning on the flashlight on my phone so that she could sign. Then I realized that both girls were naked. Since I'm a good worker, I turned away when she was signing. Then I went to my car. When I left, one of them shouted to me, "Have a nice evening. Mark has a nice one already." And I laughed, since I completely forgot that this is an old man's house. Mark couldn't come to the door since he was tied up. Delivered the order to the hotel. The dude lost consciousness 3 times during our meeting for 10 minutes. It looks like he was a narcoleptic, but it still scared me to shit. The narcoleptic is here. He probably had a cataplexy attack. We don't lose consciousness. We are still in consciousness, but we lose control of our muscles, so we look like we've lost consciousness. In some rare cases, it may look like a seizure because we are trying to move to cause spasms. This happens because of emotions, so most likely he was too nervous or something like that. He was very happy with the pizza. One of my neighbors killed a pizza delivery man. The guy worked as a delivery man while he was in college. The neighbor received a life sentence for an intentional murder. It's just that they clearly said that the delivery will be within 30 minutes or earlier. As the wise men say, forgiveness is a gift from God, but never pay the full amount for a late pizza. Lady with mops. Right before closing the restaurant, we received strange orders for 2 pieces of chocolate cake and 2 cans of whipped cream. Whipped cream was not on the menu, so the client made an advance payment and negotiated with the management. Because of this, she considered herself a VIP. She was damn fat, had 3 mops, behaved rudely, and never served tea. It was very cold that night. There was a bad shift, and of course, I was called to the trailer park. I decided that today was the day when I would take revenge on her. I opened the cans with whipped cream and crushed her cakes. I gave the order and told her to stop ordering 5 minutes before closing. By the time I returned to the restaurant, she had already come to complain. My boss refused to give me a salary until I brought her normal cans. And this is where the fun begins. When I returned, her dress was torn. I could not help but notice. Wet, smeared cream all over, coloring her black leggings. Looking down, I saw one of the mops, whose whole face was in cream, dripping from the chin. When I explained to my boss that she most likely treated animals cruelly, he finally put her on the blacklist. When I read The Lady with the Mops, I was happy. Hooray! Finally something interesting, and not a strange thing related to sex. It ended with a strange thing related to sex. I just threw up. My colleague from the last job delivered pizza when I was in college. One day he told me that once, when approaching the place, a group of seniors ran across the street with a finish line. As soon as he stopped, they ordered pizza at Pizza Hut and Domino's at the same time. I don't understand where he worked, but he won the race. I want to try to do the same now. I was delivering pizza to a young girl who was alone at home. And as soon as she opened the door, her dog immediately ran away. I gave her pizza, got in the car, found the dog, and returned it. She didn't leave me any tips, so on the way back to the restaurant, I was upset. A few hours later, her mother called the restaurant and asked to call me. She thanked me and explained that they had put money aside for tea, but her daughter was so upset because of the dog that she forgot to give it to me. I worked in this pizzeria for more than 2 years. While I was studying in college, after that incident, they ordered 2 large pizzas with pepperoni and asked me to deliver them. They always gave me tea for at least $25. I'm so happy that the ending was happier than the beginning as it could initially seem. It's also good that you turned out to be a man and found her dog. These bastards can run far and hide well. Thank you very much for watching. In the comments under the video, Food Delivery Man, he can tell you what was the strangest thing you could see when you delivered food. And don't forget to watch our other episodes. That's all.